Hello everyone. So today we are going to work on some improvements for the attack camera. So earlier we had a problem when we chose to attack this bigger character. When I do the attack, now let me slow down. So now here the character stays in the frame throughout the whole attack sequence. But earlier that was not the case. It was the head of the bigger character was out of the screen because we were not properly targeting or framing the both characters, both attacker and the target when we do the attack. So yeah, that's one thing we are going to fix. And also we had another issue here. Depending on the character's facing angle, we were not clearly seeing the character that we are targeting. That was especially clear when we were in this third character. Now here, if I select this first character, that was into the leftmost character in the enemy party. Here you see, now we can clearly see. That's because we have done the fix. This is after doing the fix, but it was earlier not in a proper angle. So yeah, those are the things we are going to work on today. Right, before we get started, let me remind you that you can download the project files of this project and all other thousands of projects I have done. Here is the full playlist of this project. Everything is implemented from scratch and explained. You can follow these episodes and implement everything by yourself. And this is my Patreon page. If you choose to become a member, you can download the project file of this project and all of the thousands of things that I have done. So feel free to check it out. I'll leave the link in description below. Right, now back to today's tutorial. So this is a problem that we have currently in our attack camera. So I'm going to resolve that first so that we can add a special camera for the parrying. So this is the problem. Here, if I choose this bigger character as the target, as you can see now, the character is somewhat out of the screen when the attack happens. So let me show that again, because the character is bigger. Here, let me slow down. Yeah, and here, as the attack happens, in this instance, you can see the character is out of the screen. The head is out of the screen. So I want to prevent that. I want to keep that character also within the frame. So we have to do some dynamic targeting or framing in our gameplay camera for the player attack. And also another problem we have is here. If I let me switch to the third character, this character, start the game. So here, if I select this target, how you see, it's not properly framed. We can see from the right hand side we can see the character, but this angle is much better. Here, let me select the first character again. Now this angle is much better compared to the angle that we had when we were in the third character. So that is also something I want to fix. Okay. Alright, now to do that, here let's go to our print camera, and here player attack. This is the camera that we use when the player is doing the attack. Now here I'll add a new, sorry, this PanningFraming node, and instead of this offset, I'm gonna add that. Let me put this, I'll leave it as it is for now. And then I'll promote this to camera interface parameter, target infos. Player attack framing targets. Let's call it. It's a bit big, longer name, but this is descriptive. So player attack framing targets. All right, now let me open player character. Let's go to the place where we set the camera. So here we have all these parameters. Let me just run a switch here. And when we set the player camera, player attack, I need to set this parameter. So here attack, player attack framing targets. Okay, now maybe we should collapse this to a function. Set player framing targets. Now get the gameplay camera. Shared camera data. And here we need two things. So make array. First one is of course the player. That means self. And the next one is the target. That would mean this target anyway. And since this is only used for attack, player attacks, we will always have a target enemy. And here, if you expand this, you do have this weight as well. So maybe you would need a higher weight towards the enemy. So you can try something like 0.8 for the enemy and 0.2 for the player. Let's see how it looks. This character. Yeah, see? Now we always have the character in the frame. Okay, but the camera is directly behind the player, which is not something I want. So we can do something for that. We can of course add, this is no longer used. So yeah, we can do this to make the camera move to the right a little bit. Yeah. And here, let's see how it looks. I'm going to select the same middle character. And here, whatever I choose this character. See, again, it's not clear enough. So maybe when we select the target, this is where target selection. This is what's happening. Okay, this is where the character rotation is set. Let's try something like this. Hit control. Set control rotation with the same rotation. We switch to the third character because that's where the issue was clear. Okay, I'll select this one. Yeah, see? Now the angle is much better compared to what we had before. Which character we choose, we always have the same angle to the target. Right. So yeah, that's all I want to address in this episode. The reason that I wanted to change this, fix this first is because this is going to matter when we implement a different camera angle for parrying. So yeah, let's look into that in the next episode. So thanks for watching. As always, updated project files will be available for download in the Patreon page. Link could be in the description below. And do let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.